Okay, we're back, folks. I'm your host, BKP. Thank you for bearing with us with our first Monday morning quarterback, trying to figure out some of the technical difficulties that we had this morning getting the audio straight. So we will do that and get that straightened out for next week's Monday morning quarterback, every Monday morning at 8:30. Now, this 9 o'clock, we're talking Blue Ridge, all right? Now, I can't go through all the details because we don't have the time. It's an hour show. We're going to be playing we're going to play a 38-minute interview with Patrick Craine. Patrick Craine will highlight possible alleged collusion between Councilwoman Angie Arp. Okay, alleged collusion between Councilwoman Angie Arp, Police Chief Johnny Searcy, former Fan and Focus publisher Mark Tomlinson, and Swan Drive-In owner Steve Setzer. He will discuss the night that the Mayor Donna Whitener, went down to the Chief of Police's office, the police station, concerning a possible arrest of Mr. Craine. He will address that. He will address whether he got paid to be a part of the concerned citizens of Blue Ridge. The list goes on, okay? He will discuss some things concerning Chief of Police Johnny Searcy. This is 38 minutes you do not want to miss. I asked every possible question I could, all right? Now, some of this is fact. When I say some is fact, but there's my opinion in here because, you know, they love to sit there with their legal pad and take notes and see where they could try to get me, especially the cartel, the Fanning cartel. So if there's a fact, I'm going to let you know that I have the fact here. If it's my opinion, but I feel pretty good it's factual, I'll let you know. Let's start out with the election, all right? Now, why is Chief Johnny Searcy so determined to make sure that Councilwoman Rhonda Thomas and Mayor Donna Whitener do not get reelected? Why is he pushing so hard to try to make sure that Councilwoman Angie Arp and Rhonda Thomas's opponent, Angelina Powell, gets elected? All right? Now, sources have told me, these are voters, okay? These are voters. Sources have told me that Chief Johnny Searcy is going door-to-door campaigning, okay? Door-to-door campaigning. A source, a reliable source, we'll go with a reliable source. Very reliable. But I'm not going to mention no names because Blue Ridge is a very dangerous place. If you're on the wrong side. Could be a very dangerous place. Ooh, hell. Got to be careful there. Blue Ridge could be very dangerous. In the city of Blue Ridge, you could get subtle from certain departments, like certain people. You could get subtle little things that say, maybe watch your step. Maybe, okay? So you got to be careful. So I can't give out sources' names. You know, to protect. Hey, you're going to hear. Now, wait a minute, before you say, oh, that was implying not all city of Blue Ridge, not all the people. There's a lot of great people there, but some departments, some people, some council members, you're going to hear Patrick Craine look at the camera and say he's in fear in the city of Blue Ridge for him and his family. You're going to hear that today, okay? Now, that being said, sources also, this election coming up. At 10 o'clock, there's a hearing. There's a hearing on the eligibility of Jane Whaley to run for city council. Is she a resident? Do you know how many times I get phone calls telling me that Angelina Powell lives out at Lake Blue Ridge? It's like, to me, there's people that call me, and I'm looking right in the camera. I don't have, Angelina Powell, I don't really know her that well. I have invited Angelina Powell on this show multiple times. I've invited her to be a guest. Now, you saw, is his name Brendan Doyle or Doyle Brendan? I don't want to get it mixed up. I apologize to him. But you saw you were able to see the candidate, okay, Friday for mayor interview, and I gave him an opportunity to give his position on everything, right? I've offered the same to Angelina Powell. She won't respond. All right? But here's the thing. Do you know how many people have called me and said, okay, Angelina Powell lives on Lake Blue Ridge or wherever it's at. I don't know where it's at. That's just what I've been told so many different, but I've been told by multiple people she doesn't live in Blue Ridge. She has a business there. She owns property there. I want to be fair. So I'm not saying she doesn't. I'm just saying these are the things you just hear over and over. Okay? Second, a very reliable source said that Angelina Powell has gone into elderly voters' homes and offered to help them fill out their absentee ballot. Now, I don't know if that's wrong. Maybe they needed help. But I understood she went in. I don't know. I'm just saying this is the point I'm making here. The only point I make, and she can come and refute that. I don't know. It's a very, very reliable source that gave me that one. Elderly people's voters' homes asking to help fill out their absentee ballot. This thing is going, and we're not even in October yet. This thing is going to get rough, and we're not even in October. Okay? So that's coming up. Now, the city of Blue Ridge, okay, received the city of Blue Ridge and Mayor Antolinum, I guess, notice. This is kindly, you pay or we got a problem. So we got Russell Stuckey. Remember Russell Stuckey? Russell Stuckey was Mark Thomason's attorney. Oh, I tell you what, he's the attorney of the cartel in Fannin County. I swear to God. It doesn't matter. Johnny Searcy, it doesn't matter who you are in Fannin County when it comes to a certain group. This is the attorney that seems to represent them at all times. Russell M. Stuckey, okay? So Russell sends over, remember Russell Stuckey, the attorney to Mark Thomason during the Rhonda Stubblefield case, the N-word case. Remember Russell Stuckey, the person that is currently with Mark Thomason, the former publisher of the Fannin Focus, suing or intending to sue the city, the county of Pickens County, and B. Allison Sosby, the district attorney, and Superior Court Chief Justice Brenda Weaver, okay, for their $1 million. I mean, Stuckey's got his claim down there with Thomason, and for a loss of business. So maybe he's trying to get back something here where he lost so much business, and that one he claims. So anyhow, this is coming from Johnny Searcy. Johnny Searcy, Chief Johnny Searcy, is going to maybe, and Corporal Michael Green, sue the city of Blue Ridge, okay? And Mayor Donna Whitener and Councilwoman Rhonda Thomas. Why? For interfering with an investigation? Interfering with an investigation? For prohibiting them from doing their job? Supposedly Rhonda Thomas called little Corporal Michael Green, oh my God, am I in trouble? She called Michael Green a son of a bitch. Wow. I hope your feelings are not hurt, Corporal Green. Oh, supposedly in this, she called him a son of a bitch. And supposedly Johnny Donna Whitener said, "I'm tired of your shit, Johnny Searcy." Now, I know you're upset I said that, but daggone, it's in the paperwork. I mean, come on. I'm so friggin' tired of that. All right, it's in the paperwork. Supposedly, Donnie told Johnny that. Oh, they just can't take it. Now, do you realize the claims that they obstructed justice from being done and they got in the way of an investigation is this major investigation of Patrick Craine supposedly raising his middle finger to Steve Setzer. $1 million. You realize this is the case that supposedly they obstructed justice. When Donna Whitener went down there and said supposedly she demanded to see the videotape. Really? We're going to have more on this tomorrow, okay? Because tentatively, we're going to have 2 guests in here tomorrow to talk about this letter. So we're going to focus on this tomorrow, all right? Right now, what I want to do is I want to play our interview. Okay, we're going to play our interview with Patrick Craine. You want to stay with this, all right? After that, tomorrow we will do another full segment from 9 to 10 on Blue Ridge and break down everything going on up there as we speak. I'm your host, BKP. Johnny, Corporal Green, really $1 million lawsuit because they interfered with your ability to do your job. Let me tell you what doing your job is. Maybe I shouldn't tell you what doing your job is. Maybe if there was a drug bust in the city of Blue Ridge and they came down and tried to interfere with you finding the drugs, you got something. Maybe if you were doing an underage alcohol consumption sting with stores and seeing who's selling to kids under 21, stores and bars and establishments in Blue Ridge, and they came down and said something, maybe that would be obstructing your investigation. But I would be somewhat embarrassed to say the investigation that you were in the middle of was somebody allegedly giving somebody the middle finger that they obstructed. Really? $1 million lawsuit? Where are you going with that? What are you afraid of? GBI might come in and take a look around? What are you afraid of? Some people might get elected and you got to go into early retirement? I don't know. What are you afraid of? I'm your host, BKP. When we come back, right after these messages, you do not want to miss this interview. Stay with it.
Ace is your helpful place for paint and home goods, tools, outdoor living, and lawn equipment. But did you know Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge is a little bit more? We have hunting rifles and accessories for your next hunting trip. We have Amish furniture imported directly from Ohio. And we have Ace Custom Woodworks for all your custom wood project needs, from cabinets to artwork. Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge. We have your new house in stock.
What you gonna do with all that junk?
Days Chevrolet in Jasper is dropping the hammer. Over $11,000 off MSRP on new Silverados. Just look what we've done to the price on this new LT Crew Cab. Save over $11,000 and pay just $32,500. And Days Chevy is dropping the hammer in a big way on all new Chevy Malibus. Save over $6,500 and pay just $17,900. The savings are real and they're big at Days Chevrolet in Jasper.
Better days ahead, Days Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
Hi, I'm Rhonda the Mattress Lady, and this is my husband Gary, owners of Mattress Overstocked in LJ next to Walmart. And we want to earn your business. From the time you walk in our door to the time we deliver your new mattress to your door, you will see the difference. Our selection and prices are the best in North Georgia, and customer service is our top priority. So y'all come on in and let us help you find the right mattress at the right price. That's Mattress Overstocked in LJ next to Walmart.
matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up. And they stay there, and they say yeah, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win, win, win. And if you going in, put your hands in the air, make them stay there. All I do is win.
Hey, this is BKP, and you're watching Good Morning from the Office, North Georgia's only live online morning show. And at this time, I'm joined by Patrick Craine. Let me give you a little background. Mr. Craine has recently been arrested for disorderly conduct, and that was due to an altercation between him and the Blue Swan Drive-In there in Blue Ridge owner Steve Setzer. But we're going to talk a little bit about today of what led up to that, Mr. Craine calling about noise ordinance, what happened in that situation, and we're going to just let the camera roll, and Mr. Craine and I are just going to have a discussion about what took place. Patrick, thank you very much. I appreciate you. Let's go back, not to the beginning, but before we get into some things, you live next to the drive-in, right?
Yeah.
And there's a noise ordinance in the city of Blue Ridge. Can you tell me what the noise ordinance is?
That an audible voice over 50 feet away from the building, structure, or place it's coming from.
And so you live next to the drive-in, and they play. Is it 11 o'clock? Did you not tell me? Is the city ordinance 11 o'clock?
11 o'clock.
So they play movies after midnight, and so on.
They go to 1:30, 1:45 during the summer.
And you have called the police a couple times about that?
The reason I've called is Steve, he took down the noise barrier fence, the security fence, did away with it, and it made it a lot louder. And then I know living there, there's going to be some noise, but when you can hear it in your bedroom at night and can't go to sleep, there's a problem.
Now, recently you and I sat down and talked. And I have told people before, because I'm going to just be honest with everybody. You and I have sat down one-on-one and had a conversation already.
Yes.
Okay. And in that conversation, we started talking about an organization that was created called the Concerned Citizens of Blue Ridge. On all the paperwork, you're listed as everything there. You're listed as the secretary, the CEO, CFO. How did that become you doing all of that and being the sole responsible person?
I really don't know, because I don't know that much about stuff like that. But Angie, or Mark Thompson, and Johnny Searcy, and Steve Setzer are the ones that I assume that came up with that, because Johnny called me to congratulate me on the phone, and I hadn't talked to him in over 2 years. And then I said, "What are you talking about?" "Oh, maybe you don't know yet."
Well, so did they make up the concerns? I want to get it clear for the citizens.
Lynn Wagner was the attorney.
Yeah.
She still won't give me the information. She won't even tell me who paid for it or who presented the ideal to her. And she said that she'd met me on 3 different occasions, and I've never saw the lady other than that one time you and I were in there when we requested that information. I'd never saw her before in my life.
But they did. Angie, Art, Steve Setzer, Mark Thomason, Johnny Searcy, they had meetings, they set this up, and you did go sign the paperwork, correct?
I mean, I was the only one in there, me and Lynn's, I guess, her secretary.
Assistant, okay. But now, were you aware that it was those 4 individuals?
Yes.
And they had meetings. Did you ever attend meetings with them?
No.
But they had meetings?
Yes.
I'm going to ask you candidly now, did they compensate you in any way to do this? Did you get paid, or did any money change hands, or anybody, any kind of...
They tipped occasionally.
Tipped occasionally? Mm-hmm. Can you tell me who it directly came from, or can you tell me who it directly came from or not?
Rather not.
You'd rather not, but you did get, I'll call it compensation, you call it a tip, but they would tip you occasionally. Yeah. Okay, but it was out of the 4.
And
you'd rather not say, but it was out of the 4.
Everything that I got up in the council meetings and spoke about was already prepared for me by Angie.
So you would get tips, and you said you would rather not, but there was 4 names that we brought out today. So somewhere within those 4 names is where you would get the tip, and we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Is that fair? Okay. So now you did make a presentation, and we're going to get all the way through to where you're at today because I know you want to share some concerns you have today, but you made a presentation to the council. You kept continually going to the council and making a presentation based on violation charges by the mayor and asking for an investigation.
Yes, that was on Angie's request. Angie and Mark's.
That's on Angie and Mark's.
Yes.
Mark Thomason, former
Yes.
Fan and Focus.
They were the 2 main ones that talked to me.
Okay, so when you went up and you made the request, because I have the video, so Miss Arp is sitting over here. While she's sitting over here, you're actually reading her words?
Exactly.
So when you're reading, this violation, this is this, you have an obligation as a council, you're reading what Miss Arp prepared for you, and she's not even 10 feet away.
Right. And that she had already spoken on several different occasions that who she had that would vote with her. So she had already spoke with a couple of the other council members about this. I mean, everything was pre-planned by her.
Set up. So she conveyed to you when you did this.
Yeah, and even text me and then, be sure and be there. Tonight's the council meeting and all this. We'll come by before you go to the council meeting and all that.
So she'd have everything ready. And when you went by and got the paperwork from her, did she directly hand it to you here,
yeah.
Patrick? Okay. So when you did that, she also conveyed to you that she had the votes, and
yeah.
And when it came time, she would
said that the Bruce would back her, and Rodney was the 2.
And that was it, because I do know Harold Herndon did not. When they voted, Councilwoman Rhonda Thomas voted no.
I never spoke with Bruce or anything. Bruce never come to me and talk to me.
But that was all set up through Miss Arp.
Yes.
Right. Bruce and Rodney never came and talked to you. You never had a discussion with Rodney Kendall?
No.
Right. Okay. So then she made a motion to go forward with an investigation. All right.
And then during the investigation, I'm the one who presented it.
Right.
But they never spoke to me, not one word.
So when the investigators, and it slips my mind who it was, I forget.
Gerard and Davis.
Gerard and Davis. When Gerard and Davis did the investigation and they interviewed people, you were never interviewed.
Never.
Never interviewed. Okay. Now. Let's fast forward a little bit here. Chief Searcy, do you go way back with him?
I've known him for 27 years.
27 years. Have the 2 of you always gotten along?
Yeah.
Basically?
Mm-hmm.
What about Steve Setzer? How far back do you go with him?
Ever since I moved to Blue Ridge about 27 years ago.
Have you pretty much always got along?
Always got along.
What about Miss Arp?
But as long as
I guess I tell you where I'm going with this is what exactly triggered them to change when they started hearing or feeling that you what happened that you decided to talk?
When they wouldn't give me, I'd ask for I need something to prove what I'm getting up there and saying, and then they couldn't produce nothing. And that's whenever I started questioning everything that they'd already ever said to me.
Oh, so you're getting up there reading stuff and you're saying to them, wait a minute, why don't you come back with some proof? Quit just telling me what to do.
If I was presented with, hey, where's your facts at? The only facts that I had was my original complaints, which that's been taken care of.
Can I ask you this? When we talked the first time, I think I remember you saying something to the nature of, they said you basically felt like once it was done and the investigation went nowhere and it was finished, they were done with you.
They were through with me.
They were through with you.
Yeah, Angie told me, she said, if there's ever any legal stuff taken against you, I'll have my attorney handle it. And that was the biggest crock there was.
Okay, so Noah's ordinance, you've been calling the police, they come out, what do they do?
Nothing. They tell me that I can't have my floodlights on or nothing.
Well, did they ever give Mr. Setzer a citation?
No.
Anything? Nothing.
They told me it was a drive-in. You know, I knew it was a drive-in whenever I built my house there.
Okay. You knew that. So then Mr. Setzer returned by calling about your floodlights, or who called about your floodlights?
He did.
But they're motion, right?
You're in motion. Yeah.
Right. And he called about your floodlights, and they showed up at your house and told you?
Me, Michael Green told me, he said, if you don't cut them off, I want to arrest you.
Michael Green did.
Yeah. So, I mean, what's the option? You know, either go to jail or cut the floodlights off. So I cut them off.
But they're motion. And I asked that twice because I personally have motion, and the reason they're there is so if somebody comes on my property. Right.
And then they're not set to stay on. I mean, they come on for like, they was on for 15 minutes, and I cut them down to like 5 minutes.
They got a timer, yes. So you got it set for 5 minutes so you can look outside and see if anybody's there. There is an incident that I want to talk about that you told me there's no incident report written on, and may I call it shots fired. Can you tell me that whole story?
I was going at my son's diesel shop in Ball Ground.
Right.
And then I get a call that says, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yeah, I guess." And said, "Well," they said that it come across the scanners that there was shots fired at the drive-in, and they're saying that you were shooting at them, and they had a witness. The call came from the projection room. It was Kathy, Steve's wife, and Courtney, the ex-daughter-in-law, was the witness. And then so I hurry up and come all the way to Blue Ridge as fast as I can.
But they're in the production room. So
that's where the call came from.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right.
And then whenever I start out Summit Street, I meet Rob Stewart. And I said, "What's going on, Rob?" He said, "Oh, it ain't nothing. They said it was somebody shooting fireworks." I said, "Well, who was shooting fireworks?" "Well, we don't know." I said, "Well, did you come to the house?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Anybody come with you?" "Yeah, Gary come with me." I said, "I bet y'all drove separate vehicles too. What was y'all's intentions?" If I'd have been there, they would have arrested me. I wouldn't, you know.
So they called shots fired. There's no incident report?
No incident report at all.
No incident report.
And the vandalism that happened at the house, you know.
Right. That's what kind of vandalism happened at your house?
Got windshield shot with a BB gun.
You've had windshield shot with a BB gun.
Like 4 right there at the house on my property.
Okay, now we can go into anything you want to go public with or talk about, and I don't want to forget anything because I told you today any single thing you want to bring up. Let's go up to this recent arrest, and I'm going to give you my timeline. You and I sit down and talk. It was well over an hour we spent together one day. I told you that day that, hey, now if you wanted to say something that was off the record, let me know, and we had a good talk. And then I came into my show here, our show, and I started discussing some things and going public with some stuff. And about the time I went public with some stuff, and certain people seemed to know you were talking to other people, then after that, you went to a city council meeting. City council meeting was on a Thursday. On a Thursday, you decided at a point, I guess you'd heard enough. You'd heard enough, and you stood up and very loudly in front of everybody, as you walked out the door, made a motion.
Yes,
for everybody to hear.
They should.
What was the motion you made for everybody?
I said, I'll make a motion that Angie and Johnny both resign immediately, and they should.
Okay, so you did that publicly. And then after it was over, I went up and I have the video and I interviewed both of them and asked why you would do that. And so they acknowledged they were asked that. That was on Thursday. On Friday, you and I went over to Attorney Lynn Wagner's office together, okay? And you continually asked her who paid for the corporation, Concerned Citizens.
And who presented the ideal.
Right, who presented that, who paid for it, right? And we were pretty persistent for a good 20 minutes.
Yeah, and that's the first time I'd ever met her. And she said, I've met you on 3 different occasions, and no.
She started talking to you like she had seen you just all the time.
Yeah,
and that's it. I don't want to. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I don't want to lead you. She said, "Well, Patrick, you've lost a lot." I don't want to lead you in the conversation, but it was almost like she was trying to make you remember you met her.
But I mean,
right. But
names I'll forget.
Right.
Faces never.
So we asked, and she said she would go through it, and then she said, "Do you remember her telling us if she was given cash, she wouldn't have a record?"
Yes, they wouldn't have a receipt.
Right.
Said it would all be in like the daily deposits.
Right. And do you remember I said to her, I said something to the nature to Lynn Wagoner. I said, so you would actually take cash from a client and you don't have a receipt?
Yeah, they didn't ask for a receipt.
Right.
You know, I didn't pay for it.
But you remember that conversation? Yeah. After we got done, now that was so you and I met, we started exposing some stuff on the show, some things started coming out. When I started bringing some stuff out, did Miss Harper, anybody contact you, or did you get any text messages of, what are you doing, or
I've got quite a few text messages
since we started discussing this publicly. Mm-hmm. So you've gotten several.
Yeah.
Would Miss Harper be one of them?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you feel threatened in any of the text messages? Do you feel it? I don't know. I know words.
And one that Angie sent me, yes.
Okay.
Said a lawsuit wasn't the only thing that I had to worry about.
Okay. So you started getting text messages. We went public. Thursday, you asked for their resignation in the middle of a meeting with probably 100 people sitting in there. I interviewed them. Friday, you and I went to the attorney. Saturday, you get arrested. I'm just Saturday.
It's all a coincidence. It's a small town.
All right, so I made a joke, and I don't want you to get upset with me. I've called you the middle finger bandit. Yeah, I called you the middle finger bandit.
And then I grow up.
And then I made a little joke that people are safe in Blue Ridge again because the middle finger bandit's been apprehended. Everybody's safe now. But let's get serious about that. So Steve Setzer, which folks, for you out there, we've named the concerned citizens of Blue Ridge that brought on the investigation that cost the city $40,000 frivolous dollars. My word, that was unnecessary. Once that started getting exposed, that it was Mark Tomlinson, Steve Setzer, Angie Arp, and Johnny Searcy were the concerned citizens of Blue Ridge, and we started exposing that. Then things turned on you. Talk about what happened before you got arrested. What led up? You rode down the hill, and tell me the whole story like you told me.
I rode down the street on my bicycle.
You're riding down the street on your bicycle.
Yeah. And then I go out to the farmer's market and turn around, and on my way back, here comes Steve Setzer down the exit ramp of the drive-in. I'm just flying. And then as I was riding by, I throw up my hand. Hello, neighbor. Be honest, I was being sarcastic to him.
I understand.
And then he
you'll admit it wasn't a friendly thing. You're riding your bike.
I had no intentions even seeing him whenever I rode my bicycle out there. Right. I just rode it out the road. And then whenever I went, hello, neighbor, he flips me a bird. So I ain't gonna lie, I flipped him. For
those of you in Yorba Linda, California, the bird, that's the middle finger. Go ahead.
And then I tell him his number one back. And then I go into the house like, oh man, there's gonna be a big deal about this. So I get my truck, and as I was leaving, I don't go across the hill right there at the graveyard because somebody's gonna get hit right there head on. I always go out by the drive-in, and as I'm going out through there, Steve is partially blocking the street with his hand in his pocket on his scooter, like he's going to get his gun, and
he does carry a weapon.
Yes,
yes.
I leaned over in my truck. I ain't going to judge. Thinking that crazy fool may shoot me, and then the next thing I know, the police are at my house to arrest me.
Okay, now.
But I wasn't home.
Who are the officers that come to arrest you?
Michael Green and Alex Deaton.
So Michael Green comes over there to arrest you. What is he? You're not there, so what's he tell? Who's he see? Your wife?
Yeah.
What's he tell her?
Said that they have a warrant for my arrest.
Well, they didn't have a warrant then, did they? Not right then.
They didn't have one at the sheriff's department. When I spoke with Dane about it, I was going to turn myself into him because I don't trust the city.
Right.
And then he said that it wasn't even in his office yet.
All right,
and then
so
he called me
let's
later on and said that it was finally up there.
it was found that they're signed by a magistrate. So let's go back. So they come over. They're going to arrest you for disorderly conduct. My understanding.
They didn't state what the rest.
Right.
Was for
Well, that's
at the
what we
time.
have on the paperwork, right? So they're going to arrest you, and the witnesses. Setzer called, and the only witness I understand is his wife, Kathleen Setzer. Is that your understanding? That's the only witness to
I
this?
don't really know. I mean, just it's very vague what the warrant says.
Okay, so they're going to arrest you, and for this, let me see how I want to put this. So
They came to my house twice.
do you understand? Have you seen the video of?
No.
Okay.
I need to though.
Do you understand? I understand that it's not clear on the video that we can see an actual finger.
That's what I was told.
All right. My understanding is we can't tell there's a finger. We see the hands go up, but we don't see an actual finger. Also, there's no audio, so we don't know if you guys called each other nice names or bad names. That's my understanding.
Yeah.
Is that your understanding?
Yeah, they said that I was cussing him.
Okay. Now let's go from there. So that night at the police station, Mayor Whitener, Mayor Whitener goes down and Councilwoman Rhonda Thomas to the police station.
Yeah, I called him. And
But you called them.
Yeah, and asked him.
All right. So you called the mayor and said this is what they're getting ready to do.
Yes.
Tell me what happened there.
And then she said, "Well, I will go see what it is." And she said, "Did you shoot a bird?" I said, "No." And then she went down there, and then my wife went over there with them.
Your wife was there too?
Yes. And then, they asked to see the video. What proof did they have that I done that? And then there's no proof of it.
All right. Well, you were not there.
No.
You were not there. So it's hearsay, but it is
come
your
from my
wife.
and
Yeah,
then,
you better.
I trust her with everything.
Oh, I was getting ready to say it might be hearsay, but that's not your average
No, it's
hearsay.
the gospel with her.
It's the okay. Are you aware that Johnny Searcy and Michael Green are threatening $1 million lawsuit?
I was told of that today.
Okay. There's $1 million lawsuit pending, possible, by Johnny Searcy, and it says that, first of all, it says something to the nature that Mayor Whitener and Rhonda Thomas have tried to interfere in his office in the last 7 years.
Somebody needs to interfere in his office and then follow the law, because he most certainly does not.
Okay. We'll come back to that in a minute. What about I was told, and then also it says that night that Donna Whitener threatened, and again this is hearsay. Donna Whitener, Mayor Whitener threatened Johnny with his job, said he was tired. I'm going to be candid, folks. She was tired of this shit.
She has never threatened him with his job.
Is that what your wife said that night? Because you weren't there.
Yeah.
Did your wife say it didn't happen?
Yes.
Okay.
But, I mean, in my opinion, she should fire him.
Okay. But where I'm at right now is that night, because it's like it says that Officer Green, Corporal Green, I think it is, Rhonda Thomas called him a son of a bitch and stuff like that. I mean, it sounds like it really got out of hand.
I do not believe that. I think they were there seeking answers.
But your wife was there, so if somebody talked to your wife, she would either be able to validate that?
Yes.
Okay. How does she feel about that? Do you mind saying it? Because we better not go too far. We get in trouble.
She's real upset with it, because her and Johnny's been friends for over 40 years. And then, it hurt my feelings that she wasn't taking my word for it, that she thought it was me. And then after she got enlightened on quite a few things, it really hurt her feelings that Johnny would just take 40 years of friendship and it meant nothing to him.
Why do you think all the years of friendship with you, all the years of friendship with your wife, why do you think it's meaning nothing to him right now?
Friendship means nothing to him. Everybody is a stepson. If it'll make Johnny shine, he's all for it. He had me arrested for criminal trespass on my own deeded property, which took 3 years in the court system. As soon as Amanda Mercier heard it, and then 3 minutes, she said, "This case has no merit, dismissed."
So that got dismissed.
Yeah. But it took 3 years.
Okay. Let's go another direction. What's your concern with the Blue Ridge City Police Department? You've made some comments to me.
I don't trust them. I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe for my family. I mean, they told me I can't even have my floodlights on outside, you know.
Are you concerned now that so many things have gone public? Are you concerned for your family's safety?
Yes.
And you don't feel you could call the police?
There's no way. I even asked Dane Kirby if I get pulled over by him.
And that's the sheriff?
Yes. I mean, I'll hand them my license and insurance and registration out the window, and then I'll request for a county officer to come there.
I should have said this much earlier. I should have opened up. You are a citizen of Blue Ridge.
Yes.
You're a voter.
Yes.
So the tax money you pay, you're a taxpayer there. The tax money you pay in the city helps pay their salaries and so on. So, do you think that the Johnny Searcy, chief of police, that it's time for somebody like the GBI to come in and go through that city police department?
It's past time.
If I was to ask you, because you and I don't know, we need somebody in there to tell us factually, what do you think they would find? What are some of the things? I mean, I know what I think. But what are some of the things you think?
I know I'm not the only one that he has misrepresented the law to, that will enforce it on some and won't on the others. And then I really think that they need to go through his evidence and his bookkeeping.
Evidence and bookkeeping? Particular reason why, or just leave it there?
We'll just leave it there.
Okay. All right.
He can't be trusted.
Do you think your civil rights have been violated?
Yes, I do. I think that I've been intimidated, harassed, and then, made do something that I shouldn't have to. I mean, my floodlights are for security for me and my family.
Do you know when you have to go to court, or you know anything about the details?
I don't know anything about that yet.
Do you? Are there things today that we haven't had a chance to talk about, or you want to think about, maybe come back, or is there things that we didn't talk about because we talked about a lot of other stuff?
Well, I've got a lot to get a lot of this information together, all my paperwork and my documents to prove everything that I've said.
Can you do that?
Yeah, I can do that, and then I'm sure we'll have another sit down.
All right, so you can prove you can get all
prove everything I've just said.
Okay. The tips. Let me go back to that just a minute. How many times? Can you tell me? How many times?
I don't really know the exact number.
All right. Or an amount?
No.
Okay. All right. But today, as you leave our studio, you particularly don't feel safe in Blue Ridge.
No, and especially after this airs.
Well, our intent is to help you get the information out.
Now there's
not to put you in
good
danger.
Officers up there, real good officers. There's only two, and the chief that I don't trust at all.
Who are the two? Do you mind saying the two? Is Mr. Green one of them? Corporal Green?
Yes. Michael Green is one of them, and the one that come out and did the investigation on my windshields. I don't trust him at all, and Johnny. Okay. Which would be Gary Huffman. And then Gary and I used to have a real good relationship up till that day. And his dad, Wayne Huffman, is a fine, upstanding man, passed away.
Previous council member, right?
Yes.
Wayne was previous council member.
And a very good man.
Yes, I remember Wayne very well. What about now Corporal Green? He is actually the one. He has made a lot of comments on social media about the mayor obstructing. What are they so concerned about right now, and why? I mean, when you read the potential lawsuit, the accusations made, he says they obstructed them from doing his job.
Well, the only one that stopped him from doing his job is Johnny. Why wouldn't they do anything about the noise ordinance? I mean, it's in the city ordinance. Enforce it. I mean, it's simple.
And there was no incident report the night that it was said shots fired.
Yeah, not at all.
No incident report. And
they didn't even pursue who was shooting fireworks.
They just called it fireworks.
Yeah, they just saw that I wasn't there, and then,
But a call came from the drive-in, shots fired.
Yes.
How do you know a call came in, shots fired? Who told you that?
Donna.
Okay.
I reckon that's
all right. And you, yeah, I can understand. I see what you're saying. So, let's do this. Let's wrap up today. And let's try to get some of the documents together.
But all that I got up there and said in those council meetings, I feel bad about that because
how did you did go up there?
I give Donna and Rhonda a hard time, and then I was totally wrong on it. I mean, 100% wrong. And then this goes to what kind of character both of those people are. I can't say that I would be as friendly as they are to me if the roles were reversed.
Well, in the possible lawsuit, the first statement is that they are doing things to the Blue Ridge City Police for political gains.
No.
Do you feel they're being nice to you for political gains?
No. They've not once mentioned anything about will you vote for me or anything like that.
I would come to the council.
It's not for the votes what they're doing. They're doing it because they care about the city. And then if there's a wrongdoing, then there's a wrongdoing. Johnny needs to do his job. That's why they were over there. If he would have done his job previously, none of that all would have been taken. It would never have happened.
In the last election, Johnny ran for sheriff, and I filed an ethics violation against him, and he had to pay a $300 fine. My ethics violation was that Mark Thomason at the Fan and Focus was giving Johnny advertising and not charging him for it. Is there anything in that last election that we should know or something we want to talk about in the future? Or?
I think that's the can of worms that Johnny really don't want the lid opened on.
You don't want the lid opened on?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, like, he's over there intimidating that Jeff Brown about, trying to tell him who to vote for. Even went to his house in his police car whenever he made the complaint and then jumped on him. And Jeff, he's a real simple person.
The reason I ask is about that time, they were friendly with you. So let's just put it like that. About that time that election was going on.
Not in the last election. That right there had a lot to do with Johnny. Whenever he arrested me for criminal trespass. Right. And then we wasn't on a talking.
I mean
buddy.
But I'm just saying the last time he ran for sheriff, because when I sit down and I hear concerned citizens of Blue Ridge, and I hear there's a council member that is writing, and because there was weren't there several articles written for the publisher of the Fan and Focus that said concern with your name? But your name was on there.
Yes, yeah, I never wrote anything, had never written anything to the paper.
Do you know those were Miss Arp's, or do you not?
They wasn't mine. They were Mark's or Angie's.
Or Angie's.
And then I'm assuming Angie and Mark got together on them, and then they came up with them.
Well, I don't want to turn this in another direction, but I do have one thing that bothers me, and I'll tell you why. Because when elections take place, you, the citizens, deserve to have candidates that actually tell you the truth,
right?
Uphold what they do, what they say they're going to do, and keep their promises. And I don't like things that are not done right during elections. I filed several ethics commissions complaints in the last election, and I have 3 sources that, and this camera don't bother me. I have 3 sources that said that Mr. Searcy paid the print bill for the Fan and Focus with his credit card. That's what sources told me. I can't.
Johnny has loaned him a lot of money, and so is Angie.
Johnny and Angie loaned the Fan and Focus a lot of money.
And Steve, he was a financial backer in the Fan and Focus also.
Well, you're a stand-up guy, because you know what? I'm a patient person. Now, we've brought wives into it, so my wife won't agree that I'm a patient person, okay, today. But you're a stand-up guy, and I got a lot of respect for what you're doing. And I really feel strongly that you've just been pressed upon. It's time to do the right thing. And I don't mean that. I'm not putting that on you.
I've made a lot of enemies that I really wish that I hadn't. And then, you know, I don't like enemies. You know, I'd rather the next time I see someone, greet them with a handshake, and hey, how have you been?
Right.
And then because life's too short.
I hope that you will continue. Maybe you should get all the law enforcement you can talk to, because I'm serious. I do know you don't need to be walking around concerned with you and your family and their safety. And so I would hope maybe you can get another meeting with the sheriff, or ask him to get somebody else to say, hey, I got some concerns, and then you could share them privately.
I don't want to, but I mean, it's all pointing towards legal action towards them. And then, you know, the city don't need to be. I mean, they should be accountable for their own actions. You can't sue the persons. I mean, you gotta sue the city, and that's the last thing I want to do. But
why'd they tell you they got a warrant? I mean, let's say you and I have talked about this off camera. Let's say they were mad and they gave you a citation, and Steve Setzer a citation. Here's a $250 fine for you and a $250 fine for you, and you guys just shut up and go on. That's what it sounds like it would be to me. Well, but they got a warrant.
I don't feel that I should get to fine for anything.
No, I don't. But why did they go with a warrant? I mean,
because I guarantee you, Steve told them to. He thinks he's a big kingpin. He's a legend in his own mind.
But now he's never gotten a citation or been.
No, they haven't told him to quieten down over there.
Nothing.
And then he says there was never a noise barrier fence up over there at the drive-in. You know, and then I mean, there's no telling what can come over to my house thinking my home is affiliated with the drive-in. You know, with no lights on now. You know, I mean. But okay. I'll tell you, I am going to start putting my lights back on.
All right, I got to ask you. We're going to end with this, because I'll tell you what, we talked about tips. We're not going back there, but you know, let's just say I know how some things could work up in Blue Ridge. So that being said, look at me and tell me now: has Councilwoman Rhonda Thomas or Mayor Donna Whitener offered you anything?
Nothing.
Offered to do anything for you?
Nothing.
Or told you this helped their political career? Anything?
No.
They've not asked for anything.
They're not asked for anything.
Not expecting anything from you.
No.
Now the other thing is
that's one thing that gets me. I mean, that shows the true character of those people.
Did they reach out to you, or did you reach out to them?
I reached out to Donna because it said on the noise ordinance that Johnny brought me.
Okay.
That said that the only way that the noise ordinance could be altered was by written permission from the mayor. So that's who I went to. I asked her if she had given anything to Steve in writing that he could go past 11 o'clock.
I don't have anything else. When you get the paperwork that shows Ms. Harp's handwriting and things of that nature, I would like to see it. And if anything goes forward, please keep us in the loop.
All right.
And anything we can do to, I don't want to say help, I don't want to use that in the wrong terms, but, you and I both are stepping out, exposing some of this stuff. So
I thank you for your time and your concern.
Thank you for yours.